And welcome, Manuji. Thank you so much for your time and thank you for sparing your valuable inputs and time for us today.
Very nice to be connecting with you on a weekend. I hope all and everyone in your family is safe and healthy. Well, at the outset, I would like to kind of congratulate both of us for having taken this step forward to to you know have this joint venture and business association where we are going to uh, bring the research and the good work that Daivam, with the support of Dabur Foundation, has done and has established a name for itself. And and Niraamaya, I believe, is a natural partner for Daivam, for the way we have steadfastly over the last so many years stuck on to our core beliefs and philosophies of wellness. We have never wavered the course as a brand, and we are very proud to be associating with you, Sanjay, and with Dr. Alok Chopra, with the blessings of the Burman family. So, looking forward to our association, and I think this interaction today will allow both of us to bring in essentialities of our programs and our retreats and bring them out to the public at large, because wellness is the new normal. There is no new normal. Wellness is the new normal. And people will have to spend disproportionate amounts of attention and time towards their well-being, because the vicissitude that has struck the humanity is unbelievable. It was unexpected, and I think the true meaning of black swan stands redefined with the virus that has struck us. So allow me to start asking you a few questions, Sanjay, if I may, and you can just interject me anywhere in between, so that it's a healthy discussion. So tell the audience a bit more about what functional and biological medicine is all about.
As you know, that modern medicine is the new scourge of the world. Modern medicine has killed more people than COVID-19. Modern medicine has killed more people than any other disaster. In the US alone, 15,000 people a month are dying because of legally prescribed medications. And that's because the human body is not designed to take on the load of chemicals and of the antibiotics and the kind of interventions that modern medicine has done. With all the fantastic scientific researches and the studies that have been done in modern medicine, it has still failed to deliver the very purpose for which modern medicine was started, and that is do no harm. Hippocrates gave that oath, which every doctor has to take: do no harm. But modern medicine is doing the opposite. It is doing harm. So that's how this field of functional and bioregulatory medicine developed out of modern medicine. So doctors who had qualified as MDs in America and in England, they discovered that there are issues which modern medicine is unable to address, and modern medicine is only addressing symptoms and not the root cause of the disease. So you go for symptomatic relief of that particular organ or that particular part of the body that is diseased or is ill. But the root cause is never eliminated, and therefore disease never really goes out of your system and you die with it. You don't die of it, you may die with it. So, but the concept of functional and bioregulatory medicine is to go to the root cause of the problem and eliminate it from the root cause, and therefore strengthen the entire terrain of the system and look at the whole body as a whole person rather than looking at just the diseased or the ill part of the body. And bioregulatory means, or biological medicine basically means biologically similar to your own body. So you give items or products or supplements only which are exactly biologically similar to your body and not perceived by the body as external poisonous toxic substances. That's what it does.
Part of the conversation we missed, just the very last part, the last 30 seconds.
So what I was saying was that modern medicine has done more harm than any other crisis in the world. And functional and bioregulatory medicine was an answer to the shortcomings of modern medicine, which
Lovely.
was discovered by the very doctors that were qualified as modern medicine doctors. They could not find all the answers in modern medicine, and therefore, this field of functional and bioregulatory medicine came up, or biological medicine, which basically means biologically identical to your own body. And so it does not consume or does not inject anything that is perceived by the body as toxic. And if it's
Fantastic.
not toxic, then the body will accept any external intervention as natural because it's derived from
Fantastic.
natural sources. That's what functional and bioregulatory medicine is.
Lovely. So my next question has basically two parts, and some of it comes from one of the previous discussions that we had. That 90% of the problems in human body originate and emanate from three basic diseases, which we discussed before. So that's part number one. If you could elucidate a bit more on that, because this is all lifestyle based. And the second part is that if functional medicine goes to the root cause, why has it not caught on uh, the due respect and importance, and why is it still a work in progress, albeit a very advanced work in progress, but why is it still work in progress, Sanjay?
Everything goes through stages of evolution, just
Hmm.
like mankind, just like humanity. And modern medicine came into the world about 200 years ago. Functional medicine came into the world about 20 years ago. And it is the stage of evolution right now. The reason why it has not caught on as mainstream medicine is because the mainstream medicine or modern medicine has got vested interests in the whole process of the big pharmaceutical industry and the modern corporate hospitals. All the corporate hospitals are now a business. It's not purely for treating or helping people, but they are corporate businesses, just like any other business. So, and therefore, there is obviously a lot of profit to be made in modern pharma or medical hospitals. Whereas in functional medicine, the costs are not covered by insurance. Therefore, globally, I'm talking about, not talking about India, but globally, insurance does not cover these treatments. And therefore, people have to pay out of pocket. And when they have to pay out of pocket, obviously, they prefer uh,
Hmm.
to get covered by insurance and not having to pay out of their pocket. They will prefer that treatment. So it is going to take some time before people realize that they are harming their bodies by consuming even free medications because they are ultimately going to die because of the toxicity in the body. So it's going to take time, but it is picking up now slowly. We have got now in the last 2 years alone almost 70 doctors in India which are practicing this. 2 years ago there were only 30 doctors, and in America in the last 20 years now there's 250,000 doctors practicing this. So it is
The
picking up.
last, yes, please, sorry. The last time I was in your clinic, I saw a lady who was suffering from breast cancer, and she seemed to be very pleased with the speed with which, her disease got reversed. Now, my question is that now that we are launching these programs at Niraamaya, and these are going to be residential programs, what is the ideal duration of our top programs that we are launching? Because some are only immunity, some are going to be disease reversal, some are going to be situational. So what kind of a planning is required, and what's the importance of a residential program in this?
So there are a couple of questions in that, but I'll answer one by one in a brief way.
Yes, please.
First of all, functional medicine and biological medicine is based on changing of lifestyle because what we are addressing mainly is lifestyle diseases. And by lifestyle diseases, it means diseases which are caused because of irregular lifestyle or defective lifestyle, I would call it. Uh,
Hmm.
and that happens over a period of time. It does not happen overnight. You do not get diabetes overnight. You do not get cancer overnight. You do not develop heart disease in one night. It is built over a period of time. The disease builds up over a period of 8 to 10 years, 15 years, and then it manifests itself as a real problem in the body. So changing of lifestyle usually cannot happen at home because it requires a lot of effort, discipline, and compliances. And compliance is a big problem in India because people do not take lifestyle changes suggestions very seriously. So if I tell you to start meditation in the morning and then do 5 minutes of yoga and 10 minutes of pranayama, you will not follow it regularly because you're busy with your life and you're going to work and you get up in the morning, get ready and get going as such, because there's a race for achieving targets and all of that stuff. So in the Niraamaya resort environment, the setting is perfect. In fact, my experiences over the last two visits have been, I can easily say that it's the best wellness resort in India, the best suited for
Thank you.
upgradation to this type of new normal, as you said. So, to change the lifestyle, you have to stay for 21 days minimum in order for anything to become a habit. Because in
Mhm.
3 days' time, you cannot change a habit. In order to change a habit, you have to consistently and persistently do a thing for 21 days. When you constantly follow that every morning, every afternoon, every evening, and you're eating the right food, thinking the right thoughts, moving the right way, exercising the right way, taking the right supplements, then it becomes a habit. So when you go back home, it's very easy to adapt yourself into that lifestyle which you have seen in 21 days having benefited you tremendously. And that's the idea of the residential resort, uh, because it's changing your lifestyle there. It's not just popping a few pills.
Understood. So is it right to understand that between 7 days, 14 days, and 21 days, depending on the intensity of the situation or the malady, we can successfully reverse majority of the diseases because everything in the life actually deteriorates and is a precipitation of a lifestyle issue. Is that safe to assume that?
Yes, it is actually there, but you do not reverse the disease in 7, 14, or 21 days. You set the stage for it, and you will make sure
I
that
see.
the guest incorporates that thought in his mind because he sees results coming in. So you begin
Mhm.
the journey of reversal of disease through those 7, 14, or 21 days. And and then you have to continue it for the rest of your life. You want to stay out of diabetes and heart disease and cancers and various sorts of cardiometabolic diseases, but the ground is set and you are already on the path to wellness, and an absence of disease and absence of illnesses, which is what Miramai is the most perfect setting to start that journey.
And as we discussed earlier, 90% of the diseases are a function of the three basic lifestyle diseases, which are diabetes, hypertension, and obesity, isn't it?
And cardiovascular disease, which
And cardiovascular disease.
results out of
Lovely.
this, and the stress, anxiety, depression, which is another very major thing that's now coming up in the world. As you know, 40% more cases of depression, 90% more calls are coming to suicide helplines these days in
Wow.
America
Mhm.
because of the stress which is adding up, and that's going to manifest itself into physical disease and disorders, if not clinical depression. These are very major things which are going to be now center stage. But there are things
Mhm.
that we are doing at Niramaya which are going to be not just, you don't require to stay for 21 days. For example, if you require a simple detox, you can start from 3 days. And you require a little bit deeper detox, it can be 7 days. Programs of mindfulness and meditation
Correct.
require 3 to 5 days, 6 days to get it into a habit of of changing your thoughts.
Mhm.
Programs of aesthetic rejuvenation and facial rejuvenation can be as small as 3 to 5 days, and you can go back to
Lovely.
looking much
Mhm.
fitter. If you have a wedding in the family, or even in general, you are just look good, then it's the most ideal thing to go in for 3 to 5 days, get your whole makeover done, and you look different.
Lovely.
Of course,
So
feeling different is equally important.
yes. So Devam is also launching one of the most comprehensive, globally comprehensive immunity programs, which is well researched and is based on evidence-based research. Can you tell us a bit more about that? And just as an extension of that question, we are also launching the immunity building programs at home along with Niraamaya. If you could tell our audience a bit more about that, Sanjay.
So, as you rightly started in the beginning, we were talking about lifestyle diseases which develop over a period of time as we
Mhm.
age. Of course, aging is the biggest disease because as you age, your body becomes more susceptible to infections and your immunity goes down. Uh, Immunity suddenly became very like a buzzword in the last 5 months because of COVID-19. And attention of the entire world was drawn from lifestyle diseases, which are also important and are not going down. But attention was suddenly drawn towards another big elephant in the room, and that is communicable diseases.
Mm-hmm.
Lifestyle disease cannot be transmitted from me to you, but communicable disease, I can be sitting over a dinner table with you in a restaurant, and I can pass on that infection to you. So that is a new, sort of enemy in the room, which has to be paid attention to, and the attention of the entire world was drawn towards that because communicable diseases hit people who have low immunity or who have weak immunity. Immunity suddenly became very important. And we connected with over 100 top virologists and immunologists across the world. And based on the advice from them, we built not just a full product range, which now we are offering at home programs, but an entire protocol of living for 90 days. So ideally, you should come to a resort setting and stay there for 7, 14, or 21 days, get to
And
understand
then
the whole immunity building program.
and
And
then carry it back with you.
for 90 days, you need to carry it on
Lovely.
in order to
Mm.
build immunity and make yourself disease proof. The at home program is for those people who are still apprehensive of leaving their homes and taking a flight to come to one of the resorts and are still saying that no, it's still very risky to go out of the house and we'd rather stay at home. So here is the concept that the guests of Niraamaya can do an immunity building program right at home because the Niraamaya Wellness Kit, which is now been designed by our team, is ready to go. And this goes home and right from blood tests to teleconsultations to telemedicine, specific advices from immunologists and virologists and nutritionists and hormone specialists are all available on a telemedicine platform. And you get the products which you need to have in terms of building your immunity. Every month, every first of the month, you receive a package that contains all the products as well. And then you can do the test after the program at home. So in 90 days, you will see the difference that has happened in your life.
So if somebody has good immunity or if somebody's immunity is at an optimum level, is it safe to say or assume that the virus would just come and brush by and then vanish in your life?
Yes. So what happens is that there's no guarantee because immunity is a very individualistic thing. It's almost as individual as your thumbprint or as
Mm-hmm.
your DNA. So therefore, the immunity building program is very personalized for each person. So, for example, one cup of ice cream might be poison for you, but it may be normal for me to have it. My body will not react to it in the same way as it does in yours. Similarly, immunity also reacts differently and responds differently to different immune stimulants. But yes, in general, if your immunity is balanced in the body, not high and not low, it should be in a state of perfect balance. And when that happens, you may or may not get infections. But when you do get infection, it will be out in 24 to 48 hours. You won't have to suffer or land up in hospital. That's for sure.
Fantastic. So one more thing comes to me because life, all the paradigms in our life are going to change, and they are fundamentally be defined by BC, DC, and AC. I jokingly say that before Corona, during Corona, and after Corona.
Yeah.
So in the AC world or the DC world, while we are going through this pandemic, how can people take advantage of these programs considering the norms of social distancing? Everyone's hyper scared, everyone's just completely scared to step out of their house. How can all of this be implemented? And part B of the question is, should people really be cooped up at home, thereby driving themselves to more mental issues, or people need to continue with their lives by setting a small little foundation and then going out and building their immunity or finding solutions around it?
So first of all, this DC and AC phase, DC is going on now, and AC will
Yes.
happen after this. But During both these phases, DC and AC, the most important takeaway is that health is premium, health is prime, and health, without health there is no life. You cannot.
Mhm.
And the importance of health in your and wellness in your life has been super highly stressed in our minds, and it's imprinted in our DNA now that we cannot do without health. No amount of money, no amount of rich or poor, no whether you're living in America, you're living on the streets, or whether you're a migrant laborer, or you could be, the president of America, you are susceptible to it. And immunity is the only thing that will help you stay out of trouble. So the post-COVID phase will dictate a new normal, which is keeping your health and wellness as prime in your mind. That's very, very critical, therefore. And this is what people will take advantage of, because they are going to look for solutions which can be done at home as well as in a resort. Yes, social distancing is important at this point of time, uh, but not social isolation. Social distancing is different. Uh, uh, yes, of course, wearing masks, washing your hands. At the moment, it's important because at the moment the disease is peaking out, and so this is a temporary band-aid to stop the bleeding. Is to take all these precautions, but in a long-term perspective, we are all going to have to learn to live with this. It's not going to go away. It's not that summer will come and it will go away and monsoon will come and it will go away. This is not going to happen. We are going to have to learn to live with this forever. Yes, the, the toxicity of the disease will reduce, and will the sting of the serpent sting, as they call it, is going to reduce, and lesser people will die of it. The death rate has already fallen much more than last month. But we are going to ultimately have to
And
live.
just to
Yes.
and just to add to your thought, uh, our programs are validated. Our programs are validated by a very, very broad spectrum of globally acclaimed experts, right? And they all profess, and humanity also, and especially people living in big cities who are terribly busy day in and day out. For us, we have to realize that wellness is the new leisure. For way too long in the last 30, 40 years, the precipitation that has happened because of lifestyle is so much more faster, because the human gene pool has not changed in the last 4 million years. There's not been a significant change in the genetic makeup of human beings, right? Homo sapiens.
Yes.
But the deterioration because of lifestyles has been so rapid, and I think that is the reason why advent of these diseases is so much more faster now. Is that true?
Absolutely, yes. We're exposed to 4,000 chemicals a day. So our bodies are not used to that attack, and therefore it's reacting, and it is revolting,
Mhm.
and it's been pushed to a corner, so it will revolt. And when it revolts, your cells start breaking down, and then you get all sorts of diseases. But tell me one thing, can I ask you a question?
Yes, please, by all means.
In Niraamaya, from my experience of what I have seen at my earlier stays at Niraamaya, is that it is one of the most premium boutique luxury resorts in India.
Yes,
And
please.
it was already doing well in pre-lockdown stage. You had almost 70-80% occupancy. Why would you want to change your market positioning when you're already riding a good wave and come into serious medical wellness from spa wellness? There's a very big difference between serious medical wellness we've been talking about in the last 20 minutes and,
Mhm.
and the spa wellness category that you were earlier positioned in. What is your company's perspective on this?
So, the so-called resorts historically have been built with a function of just giving all things excesses to the customers. Excess of food, excess of alcohol, excess of everything. Ever since Niraamaya was founded 10 years ago, we have stuck to our core value and philosophy of having wellness as the core of our soul of the brand, right? And we have built our resorts to make sure that that the personality of the resort exudes luxury, it exudes space, and it is naturally healing. Wellness is not only about spa or a massage. Most of the hotels or most of the chains build a hotel and then place a spa somewhere in the corner. We build a wellness center and build a hotel around it, build a retreat around it. And that changes the personality. And I believe that in the in the AC world, wellness is the new leisure. Now, a lot of people ask me this question: what changes will you have to make? What are the things? I very confidently say that there is no real change. The Niraamaya that has been in existence for 10 years will be no different than the Niraamaya now. Plus, we might just add a few sanitizer bottles here or there, because the way we have built our retreats, I can tell you that they have the lowest density of rooms per acre, staff per acre, and guests per acre. And that has been our philosophy for the last 10, 12 years, right? We have never been enamored or been driven by the so-called FAR. You know, most of the hoteliers or the senior, my senior colleagues in the industry, they all want the maximization of the number of rooms.
Yeah.
We have always built retreats where we used to ask ourselves a question: how can we minimize the number of rooms? So our hotels are so sparsely built, so beautifully built, and in such spectacular locations that I can confidently say that, for the number one, we don't have to make any change from the BC to the AC world. And secondly, we've stuck to our core philosophy, where the bedrock of everything that we did was based on wellness. And the new functional medicine that Daivam will bring on board does not change the nature of a leisure holiday. People can still come for a leisure holiday and then decide to choose or decide to choose a program that transforms life, that builds immunity, that reverses a lifestyle situation. So holiday is not about excesses. Holiday is about doing things less, because our life is already full of excesses on a daily basis. And I think our joint venture with Daivam will bring in a beautiful layer and validate and strengthen the good work or the foundation that we have laid for the last 10 years of our brand. I hope I've been able to answer your question.
Yes, absolutely. My only other, question, which maybe the guests will have as well, is that so far Niraamaya and the other retreats across Kerala and across the south part of India are focused on Ayurveda in a very big way, because it's an ancient science, it's also proven science, and it is very, very highly respected, highly successful science in treating human body. How will the guests decide whether they need to go to that direction or towards functional and biological medicine? What is your marketing perspective in terms of positioning the programs in a manner that it does not confuse the guest?
Well, Ayurveda is a 3,000-year-old science. And we at Niraamaya have been offering Ayurveda programs like any other hotel, like any other Ayurveda retreat, like any other Ayurveda specialty retreat. And we have historically offered all these programs, of course, delivered with the luxury of Niraamaya retreats. And that's the reason why people have been coming to our retreats, a significant percentage of our business from different parts of the world, who come for 14 days, 21 days, and 28 days. With the new layer that we are adding, where we are going to the root cause of situations, maladies, reversal of a few programs, it is like a additional offering, and our experts and your experts and the doctors who are on board will work along with our guests closely enough to give them a broader spectrum of choices and options. So that doesn't mean that changes our personality as an Ayurveda retreat. We are just adding a beautiful layer of another offering which is now based on evidence-based research, which is now proven, and the world is very gradually shifting towards functional medicine.
Yes,
The
well,
other thing is
sorry.
not, sorry, I'll just add a small thought. Ayurveda being such a old science and a very established and a respected science might not have evolved or might not have anticipated, Lord Dhanvantari might not have anticipated what we will make of our planet in between the year 1950 and 2020. So I think evolution in all things, and Ayurveda, and as we have uh, jointly developed programs, Ayurveda will still continue to be a fundamental and an important part, and in some programs a melange between the two sciences for a better result.
Absolutely, I agree. In fact, a lot of the tenets of functional medicine are drawn from ancient Ayurveda. And therefore, what we have done in all our programs, if you go into the detailing of it, you will see, and the guests will also see, that we have, in a way, merged Ayurveda treatment with our treatment, because they are not, they are biologically identical to each other, and they are also not contradicting each other. Uh,
Fantastic.
they can work in unison with each other. So we have taken a lot of tenets of Ayurveda in our treatments and added on the diagnostics which were not there in Ayurveda. We are doing different type of diagnostics to test toxicity levels in the body, heavy metal levels in the body, uh,
Mhm.
thyroid reflexes in the body. These are things which are not being detected because the equipments were not developed for Ayurveda. And Ayurveda relies upon the art of the doctor to detect the disease through feeling your pulse, which
Mhm.
sometimes, because of the lack of training, sometimes people do not have the ability to judge correctly what is wrong with your body. Therefore, modern science has helped us develop tools to detect, what is wrong with the body, and therefore use then Ayurveda and functional medicine together to root out the toxicities in the body and to help cure. And therefore, it's kind of added on, like you're rightly saying, it's added on another layer to Ayurveda. So it's not contradictory, really. So, Manuji, let me know what is your view on taking the Niraamaya Daivam joint venture forward? I mean, which all resorts do you want to carry this on to?
Well, since the bedrock of our entire philosophy of our brand is based on wellness, along with Ayurveda, we believe that functional medicine, biological medicine is the future and is the way forward for us. So, besides the fact that we are launching our functional medicine centers in the three of our Kerala hotels, we have just signed up with a hotel in Solon up in the hills where we will be having a Niraamaya Devam center. In addition to that, we wish to have a center in all our new properties that are likely to come up over the next few quarters, because wellness and our belief in wellness and what this joint venture can bring onto the table is very strong, and our resolve in the future and the new normals that are emerging, this is where our focus lies. So to answer your question simply, everywhere, and we are looking to expand. There are a lot of people who want to now, the traditional leisure hotels, they are looking at converting those hotels or upgrading them to offer wellness facilities, because wellness is the new leisure. And in view of that, we believe that uh, every new Niraamaya hotel must have a Devam center as well.
Absolutely, that's very nice to hear. Thank you.
So while we've had a lot of discussions, and we've spent, I've taken a lot of your time. Just one last question for the viewers of this video and the listeners. What are the 4 or 5 major takeaways that can instantly uh, boost immunity, uh, cleanse people's toxicity, because people have been locked up at home. I'm sure being locked up would have built a lot of toxicity as well. You know, how to increase the oxygenation levels of the body. Any major significant takeaways which are DIY things, as I may say, do it yourself, and which really improve you know, physiological markers in people's body?
See, guests who are coming to Niraamaya and who are not as well, they all are of the mindset that health is the new normal and the new leisure, you say, and it's very important. So they all have health as prime in their minds.
Yes,
Uh,
please.
but we always think that nutrition is a very important pillar of detoxicity and also of building your immune system. But in our opinion, it's not just nutrition that you eat, it's also nutrition that you assimilate,
Hmm.
that you digest, and that you eliminate. So it's four things as a part of the nutritional program that have to be taken care of, whether you're at home or in the resort. The second thing, of course, is sleep. Most important. I was just hearing a talk last night by some sleep doctor who was stressing on the importance that sleep is more important than wakefulness. And if there's only one thing that you want to do in between choosing between nutrition, exercise, and sleep, then sleep is the most important factor. So this is the second most important advice. Third, of course, is movement in terms of exercise, breathing, yoga or pranayama, etc. So movement of your body and of your lungs, which also includes how you exercise. And the fourth, of course, is supplementation. Because our nutritional intake, which we take from food, is not sufficient, we and that's primarily because 92% of the soil in India is depleted, so we do not get enough nutrients from the food, no matter how organic we think it is. But therefore, we need to supplement, whether it is IVs or whether it is supplements that we need to have orally. We need to fulfill those supplementations. Without that, we cannot build resilience. So these are the four big takeaways, and I think all guests of Niraamaya, all family members of Niraamaya, and all team members should use these four pillars at this point of time to build resilience, because we'll have to learn to live with what's happening around us now. So it's so sweet of you to have spared your time as well. Thank you very much for your
No, no,
time.
very proud. Thank you very much for your time. It was a great discussion. You have a good day and a good weekend ahead. Thank you very much.
All
Bye
the
bye. Bye bye.